My colleagues, Robbie Muhumza, Fred Alibati Ansada, Oscar Kimanuka, and others, were actually surprised to see that he was a real human being walking on 2 feet and not a book. He was, this is our impression, he was disarmingly self-effacing, soft-spoken. He had a magnetic reserve about him and did not throw his Edinburgh or Ibadan experiences in our faces. He went about his work gently, and at the end of every contact hour, you could easily see what he had set out to achieve in that hour. We got the feeling that he wanted those of us around him to we discovered the gentle humor that made him tick as a human being. I'm saying we discovered this humor in very much the same way as Speak discovered the Nile. I mean, it had always been there, but Speak discovered it. Okay, the Basoga knew of it and others. It was almost unbelievable that we were being taught by the great Arthur Gakwandi, whose praises our secondary school teachers had sung on the basis of contemporary experience as we fondly shortened his work. To our, okay, yes. To our disappointment, however, in our first lecture, he said nothing about the novel and contemporary experience in Africa and did not give us a chance to bring it up. It was research methods all the way. That was MA research. He taught us to instantly record the sources of our ideas and quotations. Otherwise, he warned, you might forget where you got a quotation from and just pass it off as your own, and at the time of writing up, you will commit what he called, and I remember that phrase, inadvertent plagiarism. A beautiful phrase that has always lived with me. Inadvertent plagiarism. I don't know whether Professor Gakwandi remembers that, or it was one of those passing things that he said, but it struck a chord within me. In my adult research life, I always instantly remember to record the source of my ideas. And I closely guard this lesson that I received from Arthur Gakwandi. But that was not all. He walked us to the main library and taught us to practically find books using the then manual catalogs that the university operated. And this is something that teachers sometimes omit to do. And for me, this lesson I got from Gakwandi, we assumed that the students will go there and find the sources anyway. It was eye-opening. Okay, it was very eye-opening. We also learned from him that we could go to other sections of the library, including the science sections, if that is where you thought you could find the information you needed. And you remember that gentle humor I referred to above? Well, he advised us that our education system is capable of great surprises, to the extent that if you are looking for a copy of Animal Farm, you should thoroughly check the agriculture section before you call off the search. Okay. So Professor Gakwandi, I still remember that one as well. 20 years after the publication of the novel and contemporary African experience, Gakwandi published Kosia Kifefe. The publication of this work was like the completion of a scholar, creative artist life cycle. There is a sense in which it is a true contemporary experience, with Kosia Kifefe starting from humble origins in an African village and rising to confront contemporary political realities. By doing so, Kosia Kifefe joins other troubled child characters in African fiction whose adult life replicates similar trouble, which Gakwandi himself characterizes as, I quote, the total life of an individual being affected by the conditions in which he or she lives. And I quote this from none other than Edgar Nabutany. We might think of quotations as coming from people abroad, but Edgar Nabutany is our current head of department, but this was in his PhD thesis. The excerpt below from Kosia Kifefe will show you the background from which Kosia came from to where he got to become a cabinet minister and others, where parents still had to be threatened before they take their children to school. And this is how the quotation begins. You there, what are you doing? The voice came from the village path, from where the village path entered the compound. Kifefe turned only to see a fat man in trousers and a tie. Nothing, sir. What do you mean, nothing? Come here, the stranger commanded. And Kifefe came sauntering cautiously forward. Where is your father? The man demanded, as if he had no time to waste. In the hut. Bahemuka, the man shouted as in rebuke. Bahemuka hurried out of the house. Bahemuka, why is this boy not at school? That is referring to Kifefe. He will go one day. One day? This man who is old enough to impregnate a woman, and you say he will go to school one day, and you said he will go to school one day, the chief glowered, giving Bahemuka a piercing look straight in the eyes, and making the latter blink and turn his eyes to the ground. I'm giving you 2 weeks. If this boy is not at school by the end of that period, you will not get any license from me for beer brewing, nor will I renew your license for fishing when it expires. You heard me? Yes, sir. And that is how the later day Honorable Kosia Kifefe starts school. Through Kosia Kifefe, the author takes us through the years of the African youth with its dreams and uncertainties. At the same time, he projects images of a rapidly disintegrating society as he takes the character through political intrigues and the lust for power and wealth. Gakwandi is also a short story writer, and he writes with keen attention to detail, for which his predecessors have been famed. The difference is that the Gakwandi details are details of his times. The other aspect of his career, such as Gakwandi the diplomat, the judge at Commonwealth Writers' Competitions, are well-earned tributes for which his writing and teaching careers had prepared him. And this is the other side of him that we rarely hear about, Gakwandi, the Pan-African political theorist. He believes in a reimagined African continent because political restructuring of the continent is a more important priority that needs to be addressed before economic structuring can bring about the desired results. Quoted by Falola Toyin, 2004. Gakwandi argues that the colonially inherited borders are the causes of African poverty because they are too small and economically unviable. They therefore keep Africa trapped in a cycle of poverty, dependence, underdevelopment, and ethnic conflict. And he proposes the creation of a new political map of Africa consisting of only 7 conglomerate states to represent the critical regions of Africa. These 7 states would take care of all of them, and they are the Sahara Republic, which would take care of all the states in the north of Africa, Okay, all those would be one Sahara Republic, Libya, Mauritania, Egypt, and Morocco, and others, Sahara Republic. Then Senegambia would take care of the whole of West Africa, okay, including Nigeria and Mali and the others. Then Central Africa, beginning with Central Africa and the surrounding countries. Erythomia, which would be a combination of the states in the Horn of Africa, Eritrea, Ethiopia, and Somalia. They would be all part of Erythomia. The Swahili Republic. The Swahili Republic would be the traditional East Africa, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, plus our neighbors who have joined the East African community. Burundi, Rwanda, including actually the Democratic Republic of Congo, because it goes up to the west coast. Okay, so that would take care of our problems as that. Well, it is a very ambitious proposal, but at least it comes with the comfort that somebody is doing some thinking on behalf of Africa. Mwalimu Austin Bukenya is a man of numerous accomplishments. He's also Ngugi wa Thiong'o's model. He's also Ngugi wa Thiong'o's model East African. Ngugi wa Thiong'o believes that the true East African should speak at least 3 languages. Okay, his mother tongue, the regional language, Kiswahili, and the language that would constitute his gateway to the international community, English, French, and the others. Okay, Bukenya speaks his mother tongue, Luganda, very well. I actually took lessons from him when I was translating Mulanga gwa Lawino, Song of Lawino, into Luganda. I took very deep lessons from him. He speaks and writes the East African regional language, Kiswahili, with relish. And his use of English is phenomenal. In addition, he speaks Latin, and I don't know whether he still speaks Latin. I mean, he speaks French. I don't know whether he still speaks Latin. I don't know whether you have speakers around you for doing that. Okay, Austin Bukenya, because of his work in literature, he's become a household name in all the 3 primary East African countries, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. As a graduate, he's a graduate of Dar Salaam, as we've been told. He taught in Nairobi for a long time, and Uganda is his ancestral home. He's also credited with being among the pioneers in the teaching of oral literature, alongside Pio Zirimu and others. And among the icons who coined the term orature. Orature to capture the essence of African oral literary expression. All these attributes aside, Austin Bukenya reads widely and wildly. Give him anything and he'll give you a comment tomorrow morning. I'm still amazed whether he has sleep, because I give him something and say, can you look at this? And the following morning, for you might think that he will give you returns in 3 days. He gives you back feedback in 1 day. Okay? And he has traveled the world in search of and in transmission of knowledge. His oral literature makes his contribution to education in East Africa remarkable. His plays, The Bride and The Hole in the Sky, have been widely read in East Africa, and The Bride in particular has been a set book on the Kenya school system syllabus for a long time. In addition, he's a published critic, poet, and an accomplished stage screen actor. We shall return to his novel, The People's Bachelor, later. Before the publication of Understanding Oral Literature in 1994, Oral Literature Theory, 1991, African Oral Literature for Schools, 1983, studies of oral literature in English-speaking Africa were dominated by Ruth Finnegan's Oral Literature in Africa. Ruth Finnegan's Oral Literature in Africa was a great work. It gave us lots of insights into the subject and into the organization of oral literature from a lived field subject to a classroom subject. Okay, I really pay tribute to Ruth Finnegan. But the work needed updating and supplementing with native familiarity, which Bukenya provides, and Bukenya and Nandwa, they provide in their background, using their background and upbringing, with the publication of African oral literature for schools in 1983. This was the real breakthrough, that Africans were doing their own research. Ruth Finnegan was published in 1971, and for 12 years we were relying on Ruth Finnegan. She's a Mzungu from Britain, but she was controlling the airwaves of African literature, oral literature study. But with Bukenya, yeah, we learned now to use our own. These achievements have given Bukenya an international platform, and he has taught at universities in Stirling, in the UK, Bayreuth in Germany, Madagascar, and was for many years director of Kenyatta University's Creative and Performing Arts Center. He's also a founding associate member of FEMRITE, the Uganda Women Writers Association, and he writes the long-running Saturday Nation column, Reflections of a Scholar. All these achievements give him formidable profile that we at Makerere have benefited from over the years. Now, I promised you that I would establish the context of these two formidable gentlemen. Let me speak briefly to the context in which they have operated and which has made them internationally relevant. That is, and this will make the context for People's Bachelor and Kosia Chifefe, which are the most prominent creative works by the two of them as they sit there together. Post-colonial African writing occurs in generations and thematic trends. The generations do not have rigid barriers in between them, but for purposes of establishing an analytical working order, we have closely characterized them as first, second, and third generation, with the first generation running from about 1956, when Sembene Osman first published in the white man's language, up to around 1970, when the fever of independence was beginning to wear off. The second generation would then run from 1970 to about 2000, with writers committed to digesting the meaning of our independence. Now that the honeymoon is over, let's get down for some work. And the third generation would start from here and continue to the present. The obvious dilemma of this analytical working order, of course, is that some writers we have placed in the first generation and second generation continue to write into the third generation. So the generation of the author is marked by the first publication, the year of the first publication. If we adopt this as our analytical framework, the first generation would include writers like Sembene Osman, of course. Incidentally, we talk about the first African writer in Anglophone Africa, we think of Chinua Achebe. But Sembene Osman was there before Chinua Achebe. And also we think of Chinua Achebe because we tend to forget Amos Tutuola, the palm wine drinkard. But never mind that. So Amos Tutuola, Sembene Osman belong to that generation. Sembene Osman's work, The Black Docker, was published in 1956, while his most celebrated work, God's Bits of Wood, was published in 1960. Christopher Kigbo's Heaven's Gate, a poetry collection, was first published in 1962. And some of Wole Soyinka's best-known works include The Trial of Brother Jero, 1963, A Dance of the Forest, 1963, Death and the King's Horseman, 1975, as well as the novels The Interpreters and Season of Anome. These are great foundational works. And if you ask, Chinua Achebe has asked this question, what do African intellectuals read? This will give you an idea of what the Gakwandis and the Bukenyas read, because these were in print as they were still going through the school system. Kofi Awono's Rediscovery was published in 1964. Ngugi wa Thiong'o, then James, published his work also in 1964, Weep Not Child, and Ama Ata Aido, The Dilemma of a Ghost, was published in 1965, making her the first published female African dramatist. John Pepper Clark's poems were published in 1962. And of course, there is our own Okot Pabitek with Song of Lawino, 1966, but with a complex publication history that goes as far back as 1956. Similarly, we have in East Africa, Grace Ogot, referred to in literary circles as the lettered lady of East Africa. I think this term was coined by Ezekiel Mfalele, if I'm not mistaken, the lettered lady of East Africa. And she secures her place in the first generation with The Promised Land, which came out in 1966. It was in the school reading syllabus, and many of you will have met it. Land Without Thunder, 1968, and other publications like The Other Woman, 1976, Island of Tears, and The Graduate. All this cement her position as the lettered lady that hit the ground running. And then we have Bessie Head, who is best known for her 3 novels, When Rain Clouds Gather, Maru, and A Question of Power. Bessie Head is important because she was born to a forbidden union. She lived in Southern Africa. At that time, Rhodesia, South Africa, it was forbidden for union to have a union between a black man and a white woman. And her mother is a Scottish woman. Her father is black. And her writing deals with issues, pains, struggles, and questions of racial identity and notions of belonging, as well as the trauma of being a mixed-race woman within a predominantly patriarchal and racist society. The other writer of this period who prefers to keep out of the public limelight is Uganda's Violet Barungi. I often tease my students who has heard of Violet Barungi. She has been in print since 1968, and she writes very well. I've had occasion to describe her as our own Jane Austen. Okay, and her 2 most prominent works are Cassandra and The Shadow and the Substance. And in addition, she's the author of 11 full-length plays. The other big name in the first generation of African writers is that of I. Kwei Ama, whose first novel, The Beautiful Ones, and Mr. Kwitonda has once corrected me, and I must be careful on this one. It's not The Beautiful Ones are not yet born, as we often read it. It's The Beautiful Ones, and the spelling is an indicator. The Beautiful Ones are not yet born. 1968. This is one of the most celebrated works in Anglophone African literature. It features the pains of witnessing the stark betrayal of Ghana's independence dreams. His other works, Fragments, Why Are We So Blessed, 2000 Seasons, The Healers, The Osiris Rising, The Eloquence of the Scribes, all invariably deal with themes of betrayal and secure Ama's position as one of the most prominent and distinctive African writers. All these writers already had to their names some publications in form of short poems or short stories, which made them eligible to attend the famous 1962 conference of African Writers of English Expression. That was, took place right in our midst here. That's why we are so proud of being movers of the literary movement on the African continent. Under this loose periodization, running from 1970 to 2000 would be the second generation, featuring big names in African literature like Nuruddin Farah, author of From a Crooked Rib, Isidore Okpehwo. Incidentally, in Eastern Africa, when we think of Isidore Okpehwo, we think of African oral literature, which is the major text he has published. But he's also a prize-winning novelist with 3 novels to his name. So just keep that one in mind. We also have in this generation Major Mwangi, author of Kill Me Quick and Carcass for Hounds. We also have Frank Kipasula. We have Femi Osofisan, and with a lot of respect, our own Timothy Wangusa, author of Salutations and Upon This Mountain. Salutations, 1977, puts him in the second generation, according to this classification. And then we have Jack Mapanje, of Chameleons of Gods, Mariam Ba, author of So Long a Letter, Niyi Osundare, with Songs of the Marketplace, all in this group. And in this group also is Buchi Emecheta, author of In the Ditch, Second Class Citizen. Okay, so we have all these big people gracing this period, and I want to make the point here that published in, yes, the other writer that I must mention, whom I not must, I'm beginning to skip sections of, I've skipped Yvonne Vera and others, but I must mention Goreti Chomhendo, writing with unprecedented honesty about issues of gender, sex, and relationships in The First Daughter and Secrets No More and other writings. Now, published in 1972, The People's Bachelor puts Bukenya in the earlier phase of the second generation. The novel satirizes Africa's new universities as misdirected and a wasteful irrelevance. They are a betrayal of the struggle for freedom from colonial oppressors in which the ordinary people engaged for a better life. Instead, the university elite, both the students and lecturers, engage in distractions that are wasteful of a nation's time and money, pursuing paper socialism, and setting their targets as paper qualifications that will not solve Africa's problems. Austin Bukenya is humorous, but bitingly frank. He attacks the pretentious lifestyles of Africa's campus intellectuals, especially when set against the harsh realities of the African surrounding. The academic pretensions are further marred by the grim description of sexual exploitation of female students by their teacher. Those who have read The People's Bachelor might remember the Dr. Ogot and Lisa, who fails actually to take her exams because the sexual experience she went through with her teacher is overwhelming. Okay. Yeah. So these, Bukenya attacks these campus intellectuals whose amorous pursuits make them abandon the responsibility to protect. The responsibility to protect. And I must stress this for university teachers here. The responsibility to protect. Okay. Arthur Gakwandi's The novel and contemporary experience in Africa uncomfortably places him in the second generation of African writers. I say uncomfortably because others have entered there with creative works, but this is a critical text. But when Kosia Kifefe comes 20 years later, it belatedly secures his place there and also reaffirms his credentials as a key player in the African literary game. Both Gakwandi and Bukenya deal with second-generation issues, the pains and dilemmas of managing post-independence African societies. Our loose periodization would also place Mary Karoro Okrut in the second generation because her novel, The Invisible Weevil, published in 1998, but the bulk of her other publications come after 2000. Similarly, our own Susan Kiguli is in this generation, with her first volume of poetry, The African Saga, coming out in 1998. Speaking specifically about Susan Kiguli, a modern-day critic has observed, and I made sure I get another critic to say this because you might think it's Professor Chimba praising his sister, okay? Has observed as this. Her first volume of poetry, The African Saga, situated her among the most exciting poets from Eastern and Southern Africa. Doesn't she deserve our clap? Okay, and the third generation consists of Chimamanda Ngozi and other young writers. Chimamanda Ngozi is, could have described her as a rising star, but she seems to have already reached the peak. She seems to have already risen to the top. But her first novel, Purple Hibiscus, was published in 2003. That's where she begins off. But the best known and the one I've found most exciting is Half of a Yellow Sun, in which she makes this very unforgettable statement that certain things are so unforgivable that they make others easily forgivable. Certain things are so unforgivable that they make others easily forgivable. It's a very philosophical statement, but one that I have used in my personal life to assess things. Somebody does this and another one does this, and you say, no, certain things are so unforgivable that they make others easily forgivable. So you get rid of the smaller grievances if there's another one. Okay. And then she has Americana, which I started reading. I stopped at chapter 3, then my copy was stolen. I've not got another copy. If anybody has one I could borrow, and I would complete my reading. But from what I read there, I'm not surprised that she won the U.S. National Book Critics Circle Award. It is in this generation where we also would locate Doreen Bayingana, who comes in print in 2002, and Jennifer Makumbi's Chintu, first published in 2014. Makumbi now has several other novels to her name, including The First Woman and Manchester Happened. So this was really one way of showing that the people, the two gentlemen we have here taught us. We've taken them for friends, and they love us back, and we consult them on a daily basis of issues, but we should also know that they rank high in African, in Pan-African literary circles. Okay, conscious of the time warning that I got from Isaac Tibasima, I'll say this by way of conclusion. That I should be saying more about many other African writers who are part of Gakwandi and Bukenya's context. I should have made mention of Brian Chikwava. I should have made mention of Sisi Ndagareba from Zimbabwe. I should have made mention of M.G. Vasanji, shame, from Tanzania, now Canada. Arthur Fugard, shame that I didn't pay, and Ben Okri from Nigeria. But the general point being made is that the context of both Austin Bukenya and Arthur Gakwandi is continental. Knowing them and having them as friends and being taught by them and having them as colleagues is an honor for which we shall always be grateful. May we live to be part of their celebrations at 90 and 100. I thank you. Somebody should receive the microphone, otherwise I might be tempted to continue.
I almost sent Prof 5 minutes remaining. It's here. Thank you, Professor Chimba, and another round of applause for Prof. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're going to have a performance. And we're going to have two performances. One are going to be an introduction of our Bagole for today. This is going to be presented by our MA students, and then we shall have a performance from Arthur Gakwandi's Kosia Kifefe. Tumwesija Precious and Wegoe Jaffa, please come up the platform. Thank you. You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor to introduce to you one of the literary legends being celebrated today. Arthur Shato Gakwandi was born in Kajara, Ntungamo district in western Uganda on the 27th day of December 1943. He attended Ntare School in Mbarara, and the rest of his education background is inviolable. He attended the University of East Africa, Makerere University in 1968, where he attained his Bachelor of Arts in English and French, a diploma in diplomacy at Carnegie Institute of Diplomacy in 1969, Master of Literature, English Literature at Edinburgh University in 1971, and PhD in Literature, Makerere University in 1986. All these awards were part of his journey in becoming a writer, scholar, and diplomat. Gakwandi has successfully lived two professional lives as a diplomat and as an academic. As a diplomat, Gakwandi started out as Director of External Relations at the National Resistance Movement Secretariat, alternate Ambassador, Uganda Mission to the Organization of African Unity, and the Economic Commission for Africa in Addis Ababa. And in the same period, he served in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Kampala, as Ambassador and Head of Asia Pacific Region. He was Ambassador and Head of East African Cooperation and Ring States in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Kampala. And finally, from 2001 to 2003, Gakwandi was Ambassador and Deputy Permanent Representative, Permanent Mission of Uganda to the United Nations, Geneva. We should have asked him to bring his albums. We may just see Obama and him taking a selfie. In the academic field, he was a visiting lecturer in the literature department at the University of Nairobi under the East African Academic Staff Exchange Program, a lecturer in the literature department, Makerere University, between 1971 and 1978. He is most definitely one of those that can stand upright in a furnace, because these were the Amin years. Gakwandi briefly moved to Kano in northern Nigeria and worked as senior lecturer and head English and European Languages Department, Bayero University. He returned to Makerere as an associate professor and head in the Department of Literature at Makerere University. He was associate professor and senior Fulbright teaching fellow at Connecticut College in the United States of America. He finally returned home for a long stay. After his diplomatic work to the Literature Department of Makerere University in 2004 as associate professor, where he was, among others, in charge of creative writing classes and supervising creative writing projects for the undergraduate students, as well as supervising graduate students. Gakwandi has diverse experience in editing. He served as junior editor, Fighting Corruption in Uganda, Fountain Publishers, Kampala, Uganda. Freelance editor and evaluator of manuscripts for various publishing companies, editor, Mawazo, an interfaculty scholarship journal, Makerere University, and the editor of Makererian, a Makerere students' newspaper. Ladies and gentlemen, this professor had a hand in the publications that still make Makerere's name ring beyond the ridges. He is famously known for his novel, Kosia Kifefe, published by East African Educational Publishers, Nairobi, in 1998. And there are rumors that he based it on a real-life politician. But Professor Gakwandi himself has said that these rumors are grossly exaggerated. He is also lauded for his foundational work in African literary criticism titled The Novel and Contemporary Experience in Africa, published by Heinemann, London, and Africana Publishing House, New York, 1977. To crown his diplomatic career, he put his vast knowledge about Uganda in Pocket Facts About Uganda, Fountain Publishers, Kampala. Gakwandi was actively involved in work on human rights between 2001 and 2006, where he represented Uganda in a wide range of UN working groups on human rights issues. He also represented Uganda in the 57th, 58th, and 59th sessions of the UN Commission for Human Rights. He presented papers at human rights workshops organized by UN and civil society in Kampala, and was a member on the UN Committee for the Protection of the Rights of Migrant Workers. He was president, Uganda PEN, a national chapter of World Association of Writers, where he ran the different Uganda PEN projects, including the mentoring of high school students in creative writing and book clubs. He was twice the regional chairman of the panel of judges for Commonwealth Book Prize, as well as coordinator for literature as shared experience in Chogam. Arthur Gakwandi has touched the lives of and rubbed shoulders with great writers and academics, not only in the Department of Literature at Makerere University, but on whichever grounds his feet have lighted. I only hope after this we can both have a lunch of matoke and chicken at the Makerere restaurant, like Kosia and Kabibi did. Only this time, the restaurant should not be crowded, so that I can ask him for tips on how to scale mountain tops with genuine humility, and whether a guy of my height can survive on golf grounds. Thank you for your impeccable service, Arthur Shato Gakwandi.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Department of Literature proudly presents and celebrates a living academic and legend, Austin Semango Rwanga Bukenya, born on February 10, 1944. He is a beacon of determination and scholarly pursuit. From his early education at Catholic Boys Primary School to Chisubi Junior Seminary and Namilyango College, where he excelled in subjects ranging from history to English and literature, not forgetting Latin, Bukenya's thirst for knowledge has always been evident. Driven by a passion for learning, he ventured into higher education at the University of East Africa, Salaam, earning a Bachelor of Arts degree, first-class honors in linguistics with a focus on French and literature. Despite facing challenges, including his exile from Uganda, Bukenya's commitment to the academy has remained first class. Bukenya's contribution to the academia extends beyond his own studies. He served as a news translator and reader at Uganda Television, a lecturer at various campuses, including Makerere University, University College, Salaam, and the University of Nairobi, not forgetting Kenyatta University. Bukenya's expertise in literature and performing arts led him to hold positions such as Director of Performing and Creative Arts Center at Kenyatta University and a Senior Research Fellowship in Literature at Makerere University. Throughout his career, Bukenya recognized the importance of continuous learning, participating in numerous training programs, including Shakespearean drama at the University of York, French language studies at Alliance Française de Madagascar, and gender-sensitive research techniques training with Femnet, Kenya, among others. Beyond his former appointments, Professor Bukenya exemplifies the spirit of hard work. Through his part-time, occasional, and volunteer roles at institutions like the United States International University, the University of Nairobi, Daystar University, and the Nairobi Theatre Academy. Bukenya is widely celebrated for his extensive pioneering research in the area of orature, where he, alongside his teacher, Pio Zirimu, coined the word. Bukenya has carried out groundbreaking research in Kiswahili language and literature, demonstrating his exceptional skill at the language. This has led to so many queries, but he has been labeled as a true son of East Africa. And sometimes people do not know where he fully belongs, whether in Uganda, Kenya, or Tanzania. Bukenya is a leading practical feminist who has stood firmly with the efforts of FemRight Uganda to the extent that he was made an honorary member of FemRight. His interest in feminism is beyond an intellectual pursuit. It is a heartfelt research for equity and equality that characterizes all his scholarly and creative work. One of his creative works, The People's Bachelor, is rumored to have displeased a certain president sometime, somewhere. But Bukenya is not forthcoming about these details. Maybe we can ask him today, since it happened in another country, to tell us. Ladies and gentlemen, as we reflect on Professor Austin Bukenya's illustrious career, we celebrate his enduring contribution to knowledge, commitment to excellence, and profound impact on the world of academia and literature. Mwalimu, you are a living legend, fully committed to the noble task of transforming our world into a place of vigorous debate and humane interaction with each other. Your enduring love for your students and your unwavering dedication to the pursuit of knowledge inspires us all. We want to say, in your own words, but this time about you, that you inspire as we aspire. Long live Professor Bukenya.
Juice Panty? Juice Panty?
Yeah.
How many times do you want me to call you before you show up?
My customer. How are you?
I'm very fine.
Hey, I'm here. How is home?
Home is very okay.
So I've brought the usual thing.
Hey,
Which
the
one should I
usual
measure?
one. You give me the most expensive
The most-
one. There is a lot of money
I know
today.
You are rich. You are a rich customer.
Let me first test that one. Let me first
Yeah,
test.
you test. How is it? Yeah.
It's very
You know,
fine.
I cannot make something that cannot impress my customer. You know me.
You had me go and bring all the bottles here.
It's okay. Let me hurry.
Today I'm taking all of them. Hurry up. As usual, she's always very good in making this.
Oh, Mr. Pabu.
Hey,
How are you, sir? Oh, how are you, my brother?
very fine, Mecca.
Long time.
I'm so happy to see you.
How is the going, my brother?
Going is very.
I'm fine. How are you? Long time. Give me a drink also.
Wait, just something, but you can start from here.
Hey, my
My
customer.
brother.
I'm back.
Since I retired, I don't have
I'm
money
here.
to sleep.
Again, you today, General. No, today You will pay my money. You have been taking my alcohol for 2 weeks now.
What is the problem?
You are paying my money. Today I'm not joking.
Money for what?
I'm not joking. Today you have to pay my money.
Is that how you handle men?
This is my business.
Which business?
You are my friend and my business does not know you. Today you are paying me my money.
Are you the first person to own a business?
Stop. This is not your issue.
Wait.
What is going on? Major,
My brother, she's saying I didn't pay her money.
That is it.
if you don't have money, you just give me these shoes. I give you
pay
money,
your
you
shoes.
pay her.
Now you
How
are
much?
talking.
How much?
I'll give you 1,000. It will be enough.
50,000, my brother.
Major,
Ari, I need my money. You cannot
keep
be
quiet.
No, you are removing your
just get
shoes.
the money, give me the shoes.
Yeah.
Keep quiet.
Don't waste
You,
time.
you pay the lady. You know, the forthcoming elections, I'm supposed to be having shoes.
I need my 3,000. You can now sit down and enjoy yourself. Sit.
I heard that you're selling that piece of land. Can we go and survey it right now?
I
can
sold the
even.
piece of land, but
I can even.
I remain with some little piece of land. that
You are
can
remaining with
buy.
some little.
Yes.
Let's go and survey it right now. Let's go. As you also hold the bottle.
I can even go with you.
You come with me.
We are now in good terms. I can even go with you. And here's microphone. In the middle.
Wait, Mzee, hurry up, very fast. Come. Sit down. Extend, I sit.
I need a stick.
Slap for.
Good afternoon, class. Good afternoon, class.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, class.
Good afternoon, madam.
How are you?
Fine.
You look.
Madam, this girl has gassed for me. Extend.
Chifefe.
Please. First listen.
But
I've come here.
The gas smells like chifefe.
Rushesha.
Hey, she has gassed for me.
Not chifefe.
Can you sit properly? Or else I will send you to go and bring for me your father here. Now, I have come here. I want to take or collect some data from you. Some people did not give in their information, so I'm going to take some information from you. I need your age, or if the year you are born, and then you're going to do a certain activity. You pass your arm over the head, and then you tell me how old you are. Okay?
Yes,
Are you with me?
Yes,
Okay,
madam.
teacher.
A ring. I be quick.
Madam, we are hungry. Hurry up.
The teacher is, oh God. Okay. Do what I told you to do. Over the head. Over the head. And how old are you? You're 6. You go. You're 6. Rushesha. You go. We want to
Go.
play. Do what she did.
Fatso go.
Yes.
Do what she did.
What has she done?
Your arm over the
She
head.
looked at the teacher.
Madam, what?
Over the head and touch your ear. And how old are you?
Go and ask my mother.
God. You go and sit. You're 8. And Chifefe.
Our
How
own.
are you, Chifefe?
I'm fine, madam. How are you?
I'm fine. Do
Yes.
what he did.
What?
What did he do? Arm over the head.
What did you do?
You do what you do.
Arm over the head.
Yes.
And how old are you?
I was born in 1941.
So, how old are you now?
Madam, we are hungry. We want to go. Hurry up.
5 years. Time for lunch.
5 years old.
Yes, I'm 5.
Chifefe who can impregnate Alexa in my class. So
Oh.
you're telling me you're 5. If Chifefe is 5, the others are 3 years old.
Madam, you even knew.
Now, if Chifefe is 5, let me see. This one is tall. She must be 9. That one is 3.5.
Me.
Yes, because after all, I'm already tired. Sandra, you're 7.25. Go for games. We meet.
Hey!
No change. No change.
No change.
No change.
No change.
No change.
No change.
No change.
No change.
No change.
No change.
No change.
No change.
No change.
No change.
Now and forever, no change.
We want change.
No
Now and
change.
forever, no change.
No change. No
Change.
You make proper lines. Stop shouting. Stop shouting. Make proper lines.
Afande, leave me. We want change. Hey.
Proper lines.
No change.
We are putting change. We want change.
Those
No
who want
change.
shoes.
We want change.
Those who want to
No
get a
change.
chance to wear shoes.
We want change.
No change.
Hello.
We want change.
No change.
No change.
Okay. Change oil.
No change.
We want change.
No change.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Don't you want to wear?
5.
We want
Hello.
change. We want
No change.
change.
No
1,
change.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4.
We want change. We want
No
change.
change. No change. No change.
No change.
Eh? Politics is not a dirty game with this money. I must buy shoes. Me, son of Mahemuka, I must buy shoes. I must make my father proud. For this politics has done me good. Good. I should buy shoes. And I think I should also need a geometry set for this literacy. Where do we need a set? For numbers, yes. I need to get shoes and maybe a geometry set. Yes. Where is the...
These shoes have been selling since morning and no one has... this business, I should just leave it.
Hey, madam!
Hey, customer, you're welcome.
You have I want shoes.
I'm selling shoes. I have for 3,000, I have for 5,000. I also have this one for 2,500 and then the stocking. Which one do you want?
You can give me... You give me those ones of 2,500
I
and
know you're a student and you want this one.
I must become the head boy.
How about the stocking? You don't want?
You give me.
Hey, so you pay 4,000.
Now, what is the use of the stockings?
This is a closed shoes and you cannot wear it alone. So, you give me 4,000 on this. 4,000 only. Since you're a student.
What would I use to buy popcorn?
No, I've left for you 1,000.
Oh, okay.
You know, I've been here since morning. Thank you so much. Come again next time, my customer.
It is okay. Ruhanga wanje, I've got shoes finally. My father should see me. I've got shoes. Oh, but this sunshine also. Sunshine, go away. Little Chifefe wants to walk. But this sun. Oh, this sun and... Let me put on my shoes. Aha. Who knew that Chifefe, son of Bahemuka, would put on shoes one day? This God is full of wonders. This is how greatness starts. With small things like shoes. Shoes, me, Chifefe. Ruhanga wanje. You see your kosia. Shoes.
One.
This son also, who was angered it. The woman give me a small size. I will see from there. Even my leg, I need to go with the drawing.
You guys come and we go get water.
I think we have to go for firewood.
It's really getting late.
Hey! Chinakawa! Have you guys seen? Chifafa in shoes? Oh!
I think where this village is going because of Chifefe. Chifefe wearing shoes. Hey! Chifefe wearing shoes.
Can you imagine they don't even look nice? Chifefe is going to become the village chief.
Out of jealousy.
Not jealousy. Chifefe in shoes. They don't look good on you. I'm going to get mine. Chifefe.
Shoes have become a problem. My poor jiggers are there crying. Oh my.
Won't you sleep?
You know what is happening
Go back
nowadays.
to the dormitory.
As we go to sleep.
I need to sleep. I'm very tired. The day has been hectic for me.
Are you sure?
I don't know what to do.
You even failed to give me your eats.
Man,
but
stay with sleep.
Even the one who shoes has arrived.
Those shoes are the ones smelling for us. Shoes are smelling serious. We can't sleep the whole night.
Are the shoes with jiggers? Don't you know?
Okay.
The smell is much.
It is me, your little poor Chifefe Kosia, baptized in Nyamitanga Church. Please. I have the examinations coming up. Help me. Help me. Literacy one is not an easy subject. Actually, if I excel in these examinations, God, I'm going to start going to church more often. Actually, I think I should even join the church choir. And I sing with Madame Valentine. I will even have the front seat with those other people. I'll be taking the front seat. I'll be cleaning the church. God just help me. But I thank you for the shoes. This is how things start. Buy shoes. Who knows? One day I'll build a Mabati house. Drive a Benz. Go to Makerere University. I had Madame Esther telling me they are great professors. What was the name of those professors? Professor Gakwandi and Professor Austin Bukenya. Oh, they told me they are great men. I want to be like them one day. Who knows? Professor Chifefe. Professor Chifefe. They told me they use Professor Keke. Yes. But all starting from shoes. Greatness starts with owning a pair of shoes. Shoes, just shoes. If I overstress the road, you will forget what I said from the start. Let me sleep.
Hurry up. Come here.
Can you clean the compound?
I want the compound clean. Hurry up. Why are you still delaying? Hurry up. Hurry up. Why are you delaying? I want the whole compound clean. Can you hurry up? Why are you standing?
That one.
Hurry up.
with those ones. Hurry.
You, come here. Come here. You rascal, lie down. Prefect, come and check his legs for jiggers.
Madam.
Hurry up.
Hey!
Chief Hefe!
Meto. Our man.
Chifefe, our man. Meto.
I saw it coming. No. I saw our man could not manage that.
Sleep properly. Man, sleep properly. You sleep like
Chifefe.
What has happened?
Chifefe, are you sick?
I dreamt when I was fighting a lion.
Are you fighting a lion or fighting jiggers?
You're fighting lion, you are fighting jiggers.
These are your shoes.
These must be shoes.
These are your shoes, but
It's very weird. These are shoes.
Ever since you bought new shoes,
You people are just jealous. You people are just jealous.
even you came late.
Has
you
no
don't know.
problem. Let me tell you the problem.
What is the problem?
The problem is this guy has bought new shoes.
Shoes are the problem.
And the shoes are haunting him. The shoes have been smelling the whole night.
The man
He
cannot
sleep
sleep.
in the dormitory.
He came late, even we didn't make a noise in the dormitory.
But Rushesha.
What is the problem?
The road I serve will strike you with thunder one day. Ask by this burning sentence.
Take away your road away.
So you got where to hide your jiggers?
What you won't say with your shoes, it is not there.
You got where to hide your jiggers?
Rushesha.
She has jiggers. This boy.
Check for the jiggers.
Another round of applause to our students. And I first read Kosia Kifefe at my MA, and you won't believe who taught that paper. And so we asked him, so why does Kifefe die? I don't know if he still remembers this. And this was the answer he gave. A book must end at a certain point. And we all burst out and laughed and thought, we didn't know books just end out of the blue. I don't know if he still remembers that conversation with us, but it's something that has stuck in my mind. Okay,